respected, highly regulated. We are indebted to them.
Jonathan Hinder.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was shocked to read the Sentencing Council's response to the Secretary of State last night and its arrogant tone. As the Secretary of State has said, this Parliament is sovereign, and the fact is we've given too much power away to these unelected bodies in recent years. Can I reassure her of my support, and can she reassure me that she will not rest until we do retain equality before the law?
Minister.
Thank my honourable friend. I am very much looking forward to my meeting with the Sentencing Council later this week. And as I have made clear, I am looking into the roles and powers of the Council, and I will not hesitate to legislate if I need to do so.
Ashley Fox.
Mr. Speaker, the two-tier sentencing guidelines take effect on the 1st of April. If the Lord Chancellor is sincere about having a justice system that treats everyone equally, will she not support our bill to block the guidelines?
I have already made my position clear. I have written to the Sentencing Council. I will be meeting them later this week. I am reviewing the roles and the powers of the Sentencing Council, and I will not hesitate to legislate if I need to do so.
So the Select Committee on this law.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last month, the Justice Committee heard evidence from governors of prisons with some of the highest drug use rates in the country. From detecting drones to body scanners to physical barriers, they all felt under-resourced in terms of technology and investment. What's the Minister doing to better equip prison staff to keep drugs out of prison?
Well, we've already pressed ahead with further measures on X-ray scanners, on baggage scanners. We are taking action to deal with the problem in relation to drones. He will be aware for security considerations. I'm not going to give the detail of some of those mitigations and proposals we have for tackling drones because he will know that they are used by serious organised crime. But I can assure him that ministers, myself and all officials and people who work across the prison estate are seized of this matter, and we are determined to crack down on drones bringing drugs into our prisons.
That completes questions. We'll let the front bench change over. Right, we're now going to come to the oral statement, North Sea vessel collision. Minister Kane.
Mr. Speaker, with permission, I wish to make a statement regarding the collision between two vessels off the east coast of Yorkshire that occurred yesterday. I want to begin by offering my sincere thanks to all those who are responding on the front line, from His Majesty's Coast Guard to local emergency services. This is a challenging situation, and I know I speak for everyone in this House when I say that the responders' ongoing efforts are both brave and hugely appreciated. I also want to thank the international partners for their many offers of assistance to the UK and the support from the maritime community. This is a fast-moving situation, so let me set out the facts as I currently have them. At 9:47 on Monday the 10th of March, the vessel MV Solong, sailing under the flag of Madeira, collided with the anchored vessel MV Stena Immaculate in the North Sea, a fuel tanker sailing under the flag of the United States and operated by the US Navy. The collision occurred approximately 13 nautical miles off the coast. Fire immediately broke out on both vessels, and after initial firefighting attempts were overwhelmed by the size and the nature of the fire, both crews abandoned ship. Firefighting and search and rescue operations, coordinated by His Majesty's Coast Guard, continued throughout the day yesterday, pausing in the evening once darkness fell. Firefighting activity restarted this morning, and I'm pleased to say that the fire on the Stena Immaculate appears to be extinguished, but the Solong continues to burn. Although they became attached to each other during the collision, the Solong broke free of the Stena Immaculate late last night and began drifting southwards. Modelling suggests that, should the Solong remain afloat, it will remain clear of land for the next few hours. But it is unlikely the assessment the vessel will remain afloat. Tugboats are in the vicinity to ensure that the Solong remains away from the coast and to respond as the situation develops. I want to be clear that while there are 1,000-metre temporary exclusion zones established around both vessels, maritime traffic through the Humber estuary is continuing. The full crew of 23 on the Immaculate is accounted for and on shore. One sailor was treated at the scene but declined any further medical assistance. 13 of the 14 sailors of the MV Solong are accounted for. Search and rescue operations for the missing sailor continued throughout yesterday, but were called off yesterday evening at the point of which the chances of their survival had unfortunately significantly diminished. Our working assumption is that, very sadly, that the sailor is deceased. The Coast Guard has informed the company and it has been advised to inform the next of kin. Our thoughts are with the sailors' loved ones at this time. Regarding the cargo of the vessels, the MV Steno was carrying 220,000 barrels of jet fuel, which was the source of the fire. The MCA is working at pace to determine exactly what cargo the Solong is carrying. I am aware of media reporting regarding potential hazardous materials on board, but we are unable to confirm at this time. However, counter-pollution measures and assets are already in place and both vessels are being closely monitored for structural integrity. A tactical coordination group has been established through the Humber and Lincolnshire Local Resilience Forum. The Marine Accident Investigation Branch is deployed to the site and has begun their investigation. The MCA is rapidly developing a plan to salvage the vessels once it is safe to do so. The Department of Transport will continue working closely with the Cabinet Office and other government agencies and the Resilience Forum on the response. Colleagues across this House will appreciate that this situation is still unfolding as I speak, and I will try and answer the questions from honourable members with as much detail with the latest information I have at my disposal. Mr Speaker, I commend this statement to the House.
Shadow Minister Jerome Mayu.
I thank the Minister for advance sight of his statement. Yesterday morning, shortly before 10 a.m, the container ship NV Solong collided with the oil tanker MV Stena Immaculate, which was at anchor in the North Sea off the coast of Yorkshire. The Stena Immaculate was on a short-term charter to the US Navy's Military Sealift Command and was carrying 220,000 barrels of jet fuel. The Minister has not formally confirmed the cargo of the Solong, a Madeira-flagged vessel, but it has been widely reported that it was carrying 15 containers of toxic sodium cyanide. I listened to the statement carefully, but can the Minister confirm that this is now not his understanding? This collision and the resulting spill are deeply concerning. However, before questioning the Minister on the Government's response, I join him in paying tribute to His Majesty's Coast Guard, the RNLI, emergency services and all others who have helped respond to this incident. As the Minister noted, Mr Speaker, the emergency services were on the scene swiftly and their actions saved many lives. Approaching fiercely burning vessels with a risk of explosion takes enormous bravery, and we all commend them. I'm grateful for the confirmation that all mariners from Stena Immaculate have been recovered without injury, and that 13 of the 14 crew members from the Solong have been brought safely ashore. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family and colleagues of the missing member of that crew. I understand that the search for life has concluded, but can the Minister update the House on the efforts being made to recover that mariner? Turning to the collision itself, the Minister has confirmed that early investigations do not point to foul play, but will he commit to remain vigilant to ensure that any indications of foul play are carefully investigated? Additionally, given the involvement of both US and Madeira-registered ships, could the Minister inform the House what impact this will have on the investigative process? And has the Government contacted those respective governments to ensure their close cooperation? The Secretary of State will be aware that there is deep concern regarding the effect of the oil spill on the surrounding marine environment. Environmental organisations have warned of potentially devastating impacts of pollution from the tankers on habitats and species in the area, including threatened seabird colonies, grey seals and fish, and nature-rich sites such as the Humber estuary, where conservationists have been restoring seagrass and oysters, could be devastated by this emergency. So has he been briefed by the Environment Agency on their response? And could he give us some more details about it? And the Minister made reference to the drift of the Solong and the risk that it may run aground without intervention. Can he update the House on what steps will be taken to ensure that this does not happen? I understand that Maritime Accident Investigation Branch has begun a preliminary investigation into this emergency, and I'm pleased that the Minister is working closely with the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency as they conduct an assessment on the counter-pollution response that may be required over the coming days. But I also seek assurances that the Government will closely engage with local communities who will be concerned about the impact of the collision on their environment. This incident involves multiple government departments spanning emergency response, environmental protection, maritime safety, defence and chemical transport regulation. Effective cross-government coordination is therefore crucial. Can the Minister assure the House that such coordination is taking place and that Parliament will receive regular updates? It is, of course, too early to draw significant conclusions at this stage, but it is clear that something went terribly wrong in the handling of these two vessels. We will support the Minister in whatever action is needed to ensure the highest standards of safety on the high seas.
Well, can I thank the Honourable Member for that? Something did go terribly wrong. He's exactly right. And my thoughts and prayers are with the missing sailor's family. The company has been informed and his next of kin are being informed. In terms of the series of questions that he asked, what we do know for sure is that the Immaculate was carrying 220,000 barrels of A1 jet fuel. We know that for sure. We are yet to establish the cargo of the Solong. As soon as I know, I will make that information available to the House. We will do everything to recover the body of the mariner. In a recent debate around emergency response services, we know that lives are lost at sea, but some succour and comfort is given to the fact that rescue services often bring people's loved ones back to them for proper funeral and burial. Whether there was foul play, I think, is speculation. There is no evidence to suggest that at the moment. We are in contact through the MCA with our American and Portuguese counterparts and have liaised with that. In terms of the counter-pollution measures that he mentioned, the MCA is standing by with marine and aerial counter-pollution measures and will use them at the necessary time, but the immediate concern is to put out the fire on the Solong. He mentioned the issue of drift. This is ships drifting. The Immaculate remains anchored, so we are safe there. It's the Solong that is drifting at 2 nautical miles per hour. It is being shadowed by 2 tugboats currently. The order will be given by SOSREP or the MCA to intervene as when necessary to protect any life on shore. He's right about the Marine Accident Investigation Bureau. We have deployed those assets to the scene and they are working currently and working with the local Resilience Forum, and I just want to pass on my thanks to the Humberside Resilience Forum at this time, and that I can assure him that government agencies are working together very effectively and giving ministers and the Secretary of State regular updates through situation reports as the night went on and as the day continues.
Chair of the Select Committee, Ruth Capri.
Thank you, Mr.